Okay, so by way of an introduction, as well as full disclosure, what they say is I am totally unprepared for this course. Yeah, my excuse is that I've been working on volume 9, and as much as I possibly can, I'm almost ready to send it off to the editor. Yeah, and then I have another project that's due August 15th, and a bunch of other things. So, what did we do in school? We winged it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to wing it, and hopefully something good will come out of this. Okay. So that's full disclosure. Yeah. So lower your expectations. Yeah, just another way of introducing the course is that, it's exploring monastic life. So it's designed for people who are newly ordained or who want to ordain. And the old diehards are here too, some of them, not all of them. Okay, because it never hurts to hear the same teachings again and again. There's many different ways to approach the EML course. I think this is the what? I mean, we've taught it. This is the 17th? Yeah, because we started it not the first summer. The first summer. Yeah, yeah, because the first summer, which was 04, yeah. Yeah, we were in the process of remodeling the garage into a meditation hall. So then we started EML in 05, and we've continued it every year since then. Venerable Nima has won the award for the most EMLs. How many of them?
I think it's at least 8, maybe 9.
Yeah. So, and did you learn something different in each one?
Everyone was different. Everyone was different. Everyone I was dealing with different internal and external obstacles. So,
Yeah.
And I think the discussion groups were so vital in working through that.
Yeah.
And the support of the peers was also so vital in working through that. And finding time to speak with different members of the community, to ask them different questions, that was also very important. And not to underestimate the value of all that. And it takes time. I don't think it's a decision to be rushed. I think it's a decision that needs to mature. It kind of needs to percolate, and I'm glad that I took the time to kind of do that and to really think it, because the questions, if I'm taking too long, please let me know. I don't want to take too long, but I think it's an important point is that the questions that you pose, we may answer them at that moment, but we continue to work on them as we go home. So it's not like a one moment answer. The answers develop as time goes by and as we continue to work with them.
Yeah, exactly. And Luke commented to me yesterday that because in the booklet Preparing for Ordination, we have a whole list of questions. And he was, well, give him the mic and he'll tell you.
What am I supposed to say?
Oh, well, you told me yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I went through the questions twice. So maybe a couple of years ago, I answered all the questions once. And I went back and answered them again last year, and the answers were so different. It was so interesting. Yeah, and what's really good, and I'm happy to see, is that it's less about me, I, and yeah, there's more. Yeah, the answers are more rich. There's more depth in my thinking, my reflection about the monastic life. So, and I'm planning to answer them for a third time during EML. So I think it's
Yeah.
worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as both of them have pointed out, it's really something that develops with time. Yeah. And you don't have to, because often people come and it's like, okay, I want to decide in this course if I'm going to ordain or not. I've been sitting on the fence for quite a while, and I'm going to decide in the next 2.5 weeks and get that finished and over with. Okay. Actually, that's not how it works. Okay. We really grow and we learn different things about ourselves. We learn different things about how the Buddha structured the monastic community and monastic life. And we try things out, living here and see how it goes. And then our ideas change and develop over time. Yeah. And it's good to really take the time and think about these things, because there's different kinds of people over the years. I've met different kinds of people coming to EML. So there's the people who are absolutely certain, I'm ordaining, I'm ready, I'm here. How many of you were that during when you took your first EML? Yeah. Okay. And then some of you went on with that. Okay. And then a little time later, somehow your expectations weren't exactly met. Yeah. We often think, okay, I take the precepts, I cut my hair, I change my clothes. I'm on the path to enlightenment. I will never waver. Okay. But they remain steady enough to continue. Then there are the ones who are absolutely certain, really want to, and, in the process of kind of helping people discern if this is really for them, you suggest that they wait a little bit. I know what I want to do. Why are you being resistant? When I first saw my teacher, and I'm telling you a true story. Well, one woman said, when my Lama walked in, she had only known him a couple of weeks by then, I got shivers up and down. And I knew he was my root teacher, and I knew I wanted to ordain. And I want to ordain. And I was there with 3 other older bhikshunis. And we all agreed, no, you need to wait. I mean, you're new in the Dharma. Oh, was she mad? Okay. Then, interestingly enough, a few years later, I was invited to teach in Missoula, Montana. And she happened to be at the course. And she was a layperson still. And we talked afterwards, and she said, thank you so much for telling me to wait. I was not prepared. Yeah. And then there's the people who, oh goodness. Then there's the people, I'm certain, I want to ordain, and you tell them to wait. This one's a true story too. You say, look, I can see, you have you have a problem of getting attracted to people, okay? And this, for lay life, that's fine. But when you are, sexually attracted to people, that's not, and that's a big thing in your life, that's not the right time to ordain, okay? So he went to India, and then, very skillful, he went from one teacher to the other and asked them all if he can ordain. Yeah? And until he found somebody who said, yeah, get your robes and bowl and come tomorrow, or in 2 days, whenever it was. And he did that, and he got ordained. And in one way, he's learning very well. In another way, he still has that problem, which creates a big obstacle in keeping the precepts. Yeah, because one of the root precepts is to be celibate. And he's kind of like, that edge. Yeah, you're still there, but you're really close to falling over. Yeah. But he was bound and determined, and so he took his hindrance with him. Yeah, I don't know how it'll end. Yeah. Okay, then there are people, yeah, none of you are going to like me by the time I get done with this. Yeah. Then there are people who we call wishy-washy. Okay, some of you will recognize yourselves in this. Yeah, and they sit on the fence. And yeah, I want to. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. And this goes on for years. Yeah. Yes. No, I don't. They even go off to Africa. And then come back. True. Yeah. And, so they sit on the fence for a while, and then I don't know what happens, but they decide. Okay. Then there are the people who sit on the fence and say, do you think I should ordain? Yeah. Do you think I should ordain? Do you think I should ordain? Yeah. I don't know what they think if they should ordain. Yeah. Yeah, we all have to be transparent here, okay? No hiding stuff. Yeah. So, they want somebody else to tell them what to do or give them the stamp of approval or whatever. Yeah. And those ones, if somebody comes along and says, yes, do this, once in a while it works out okay. Most of the time it doesn't, because people have to be clear in their own minds. Yeah, not ordained because somebody else said, oh, that's really good, you should do it. Yeah, you have to be clear in your own mind. And then there's the people who want to ordain, yeah, and they, they're really close with their family. Yeah. And they tell mom and dad and whoever else, I want to ordain. And the parents go, what? What? You can't do that? Yeah, you're our child. Who's going to take care of us when we're old and we can't take care of ourselves? And our family is so close, and you're a part of it, and you've got to be here. Yeah. Is that you? No? Because you were reacting. I was saying, that's no. Okay. Who? And they kind of bargain, you know. I'll ordain, but I need to go visit my parents every 2 months because they're old and they need me. Yeah, but if you ordain me, I'll be here for 2 months and then I'll go away for a week or something, take care of my parents, and then I'll come back. Yeah. So far, that one's worked out okay. But it's, you know, that's because her parents didn't live for years and years and years. But that one can be very tricky. Yeah, very tricky. Because you're trying to I have another friend whose parents actually said, very good, you know, you want to ordain, we support you, this is fantastic. You know, they bought her a house next to the Dharma Center, and, you know, I mean, everybody else would look and say, wow, what good fortune. But after a while, some difficulties arose and didn't last. So, yeah, then there are the people, because you're going to say, what about you? Then there's the people whose parents don't talk to them because they ordain. Yeah. And sometimes that works, and sometimes that doesn't. It depends upon that person's mindset and their degree of attachment. Yeah. And then, of course, many people are in the middle of relationships, and they you know, they're really happy with their partner. They think their partner's fantastic, but they're also attracted to the Dharma. Yeah? And these people don't go to Africa, they go to Mexico. And have a nice, you know, they come and stay at the Abbey, and yes, I'm leaving and I'm going to ordain. And then the next thing we hear is, you know, there's a postcard or an email from Mexico. I'm with my honey in Mexico. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'll come visit the Abbey sometime. Yeah. And she actually made it. Yeah. Yeah. And then there were others who were also with their boyfriends. Yeah. And the boyfriend was so attached. And she said, I want to ordain. And he said, but I love you. You can't leave me. And she said, I'm going. And then she said, well, maybe not. No, I'm going. But really, I don't know. He's really good. Then she gets a few emails from me. Yeah, that kind of decides it. Yeah. So everybody is quite different, their path, and everybody has, in some way, similar obstacles. Yeah, and yet everybody has different obstacles. And we all have the same afflictions, and they come up in different situations for each one of us. But the purpose of this course is not for you to come out at the end with a decision. Okay, repeat, that is not the purpose of the course, that you come out with a decision. I should also talk about another kind. Then there's the people who want to ordain, but they have a lot of things they have to do now before they can ordain. Yeah? So they plan it out very well. This year I'm going to do this, that year I'm going to do that. then I'm going to do this. And after 5.5 years, I will come and ordain. Okay. So that one, we have to see what happens. Okay. Yeah. So, that's not the purpose of the EML. The EML is to give you some tools. Well, two things. One is to give you information, because many people, when they think about ordaining, all they know about monastic life is what they see in a formal teaching situation. Yeah, and it looks really good. Yeah, because everybody's sitting nicely with your teacher, and you can really dress up your imagination of how wonderful ordained life is going to be, because you're going to be sitting there at your teacher's feet, just like all in the olden days, all the really sincere practitioners, sitting eagerly at their teacher's feet. And I'm going to do like that and be the perfect disciple. Yeah, and I'm with the monastics, and these people are, they're all highly realized. So they get along perfectly, There's no squabbles, there's no problems. Yeah, and we just advance on the path day by day by day. And then, by the time this life is over, we're on the path of seeing. And when we die, then, we go into tukdam meditation. Yeah. And then they do special pujas for us because we've become highly realized. And I'm going to become one of those people. Yeah, just find my cave, and I'm going to go meditate all the time. Yeah, this was my generation, the first generation that showed up in Nepal and India. Not everybody from that generation, but a good number of us. And we were really touched by our lamas, and, we thought, you have to meditate. Yeah. Study, nothing much was in English, so forget, study a little bit. Yeah, but meditation. And we're going to have fantastic experiences in our meditation. And then what happens to those people is your teacher tells you to go work in a Dharma center in the West. Yeah. So off you go, in your plastic sandals from India. This is a true story. Yeah. Landing in Rome in the middle of winter with your plastic sandals and no socks, but you're following what your teacher said, even though you didn't want to. Yeah. And then, oh my God, what am I doing here? Yeah, it's got to be different if I were with monastics. But then some of those people ordained, now you're with monastics. And they're like, what? How can they be acting like this? When you ordain, everything's supposed to change. And they're just as chauvinistic as before. Yeah. Of course, I'm not as angry as before. Okay, so you have that happen. And then, another thing that happened to one of my Dharma friends early on, he was another one, wanting to go off and sit in the cave. And Lama sent him down to Kathmandu to start up an import-export business of Tibetan crafts in order to support the Sangha. So he was working in an office in Kathmandu and then going to Europe and, making arrangements. So sometimes your teacher doesn't really jive with your fantasy about how it's all going to be like. Yeah. Living with all these highly realized people. So, so to give you some information about what monastic life is about, Buddhist monastic life, and then also to give you some tools, the questions, the discussions that we have that will give you things to think about and in, your journey, like, well, how do I really feel about this? And what do I really think about that? And you may have an image in your mind about what the right answer is and how you're supposed to fill out those questions so that when somebody reads them, they will say, this person has the complete right attitude, good motivation, perfect. Yeah. But all you did was regurgitate what you thought were the right answers. But there's nothing in here supporting it. Okay? Because we haven't really looked at, well, what's going on in my own mind, and because it's difficult sometimes to be honest with ourselves. Yeah, do you find that it's difficult to really be honest with what's going on? Yeah, we may not realize that we find it difficult to be honest, but let me reword it. Have you ever had the situation where you, years later, looked back on something you did and said, why in the world did I do that? What was I thinking? I was such a jerk. Yeah. Did you ever have that? Yeah. Looking upon something in the past and then, what was going on in my mind? Well, that's an example of how at that time, there was some kind of motivation or intention going on, but it was completely mixed up with confusion and attachment and anger and, and all of our infatuated dreams about something. And then it's only years later that we can really be honest about what we were thinking at that time, because at that time we thought we knew, but actually our mind was quite obscured. We were kind of in a way invisible to ourselves. Okay, so the questions are designed to give you things to think about and to try and really be, honest with yourself about them. And then in the discussion groups, we open up and we talk about our reflections on this. And so, of course, at the very beginning, there's this wish to look like the perfect Buddhist. Here I am, all these other people want to ordain too, so I've got to make sure I look like the perfect Buddhist so that they will all respect me. But then, as you listen to what other people say and different points come out, then you find, oh yeah, this is happening in me too. It's not just them. This is me. And that person's talking about their confusion, and, I have kind of the same thing in my own mind. And then we begin to relax, and we begin to see that it's possible to be transparent. We don't have to create a persona. We don't have to pretend we're perfect. Yeah, we don't have to convince anybody, of our sincerity or whatever it is. Yeah, so that this is really something about looking inside and figuring out what's really in our heart at a particular time, and learning from others about how they deal with the same stuff when it's going on in their minds. Yeah. Because we really learn a lot from our Dharma friends about how they deal with things. And we can also share how we deal with things, and that can be helpful to other people. Yeah. So we don't have to be afraid. We don't have to be ashamed. We don't have to feel guilty. Yeah. Because who are we fooling? Yeah. Who is it that we want to fool? In monastic life, yeah, who are the people you're trying to fool? You're hoping to fool either the Buddha or yourself. Okay, are you going to fool the Buddha? No. Yeah, Buddha knows what's going on in your mind anyway. So, saying all the right things, appearing perfect, that's not fooling the Buddha. Okay, we can try and fool ourselves, but that doesn't work out too well in the end. Yeah, it's much better to, be honest and figure out a Dharma way to deal with the situation. Otherwise, you want to fool all the other people here? What good is that going to do you? Yeah, you want to convince everybody here that you're the ideal, I'm going to be the ideal, perfect monastic. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that a worldly motivation to create an image of yourself? Especially one that is not true, but it's your aspiration. Yeah. What good does it do to try and fool other people? Yeah. Because when we put on these kind of shows, everybody usually can see through them. And if they can't see through them right away, eventually they do. Yeah. So it's much better just to be honest and frank, and trust the other people here, because we're all samsaric beings, aren't we? We're all people overwhelmed by afflictions, under the control of karma. So we're in the same boat. Let's help each other. This is creating images is not going to help us, and even trying to create an image to ourselves of how I'm the perfect practitioner. I'm going to be an example to other people. This is also a true story. Yeah, I'm going to be an example because I've worked through some things, so I intentionally, will be an example to other people so that they will know how to act and think and so on. Yeah. And and then one day I was in retreat, and thinking, oh, I know my teacher has clairvoyant powers, and he's seeing me here in retreat doing this with such sincerity and really becoming an excellent practitioner. And as soon as I thought that, I burst out laughing in the middle of my meditation session, Because, you know, how that what I was thinking is the proof of how I'm not like that. Yeah. And you want to be an example to other people about how, how good you are practicing this and that. And then, and then you blow it and you feel like a jerk. And also other people look at you and again, they can see right through it. You're trying to be an example of perfection. You think I'm really going to believe that? You think I'm going to follow that? And then you feel misunderstood. I was so trying to be an excellent example to all these young ones, and they just can't see what a good example I am. Yeah. And that thought itself shows how you are not a good example. Okay? Because somebody who's trying to be a good example is not a good example. Okay? Yeah. You have to, it has to be something really in you, organic, that happens without your planning it and intentionally doing that. It has to be just who you are. For example, and this is a different field, but if you're, let's say, working in hospice and dealing with people who are dying, and you want to learn techniques. Okay, you go to a hospice training course because you want to learn techniques. How do I talk to somebody who is attached to their wealth when they're dying? How do I talk to somebody who is, doing this and that? Yeah, do I agree with them? Do I just give them space? Do I tell them what they're thinking is not correct? How do I do reflective listening? Do I lean back? Do I lean forward? What do I do with my eyes? Just trying to learn techniques. Yeah. But when you're trying to help somebody, it's not the technique that communicates with the other person. It's who you are as a human being. That's what enables you to connect with somebody else and benefit them. Not the Wizard of Oz display. You know what I mean by the Wizard of Oz display? Yeah. I am the wizard. Yeah. And then Toto, the little dog, comes, remember, and pulls the curtain, and there's the wizard, some small guy with a whole bunch of electronic stuff, pulling different levers to make him look like some big Wizard of Oz. He's nothing. Yeah. And that's, we don't want to be like that. Yeah. We don't want to wind up like that. Okay. So that's a little introduction. I hope you are sufficiently discouraged now. And wondering, what in the world are you doing here? And is she going to look at me next when she talks about something? Oh, you're looking at me. I should find something to point out about you. Yeah? Okay, and then there are people. Yeah. Oh, but this is a good story, if I may. Yeah, there are people who come to the Abbey, very sincere, want to ordain. Yeah, and they're a little bit uptight. Yeah. a little bit, yeah, uptight, yeah. And there's a lot of things about with their parents and career and all of that that is kind of jumbled up together in their mind, yeah. And they're trying to do their best here, but they are frustrated, yeah. And then they have some wisdom and they say, oh, I better leave. Yeah. Oh, no, there's actually a number of people like that. Some people leave, yeah, and then the next thing you know, you're getting the postcard from Hawaii and they're on the beaches in their bikini. So instead of being a bikshuni, they're wearing a bikini. So there are those people who leave. Then there are the people who go and they work out their issues. Yeah, they work out their stuff with their parents. They work out, their stuff with their career. Yeah, and then they come back. And at that point, they're ready to ordain. Yeah. Okay. So many different ways that this happens. Yeah. Oh, you're looking at me too. Okay. So any questions or comments so far? Oh, it's all perfectly clear, I see. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
For those of us who have already ordained, what should we not do during EML?
What should you not do during EML?
Don't necessarily have any decisions we should avoid making.
Right. You shouldn't miss sessions. Okay. You should relax and take it all in and use it again. I mean, you're already ordained, but it can act as a mirror to help you see things that you need to work on, and also to see things where you have clarity now where you didn't have clarity a year or two ago. Yeah, and to see where you've changed. Yeah, have you changed? Yeah, so that's good. It's very important to see how we've changed and to recognize that and to give ourselves a pat on the back. Okay, and His Holiness Dalai Lama always says, don't think of, how you've changed in the last month or two, but look at a year or 5 years or whatever. And that's when you can really see the change and you can see how the Dharma's working in you. Yeah. So do that and you see how you've changed. And then sometimes you see, oh yeah, I need to work on that one too. Yeah. And I just thought of another type of person. This person, yeah, is anxiety incorporated. Oh, she already knows who I'm talking about. She wants to do everything perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So I want to become a monastic, but look at all these precepts. How am I going to keep them? And I've got to keep them perfectly. I can't do anything, It's like, it says not to eat after midday. So when exactly is it midday in this time zone? Yeah, it's at 12:07 and 23 seconds. So I will not eat after that. And then one day she eats at 12:03 and 24 seconds. Ah! Did I break? I broke a precept. This is terrible. What am I going to do? How am I ever going to be ordained? Oh! Yeah. So, you'd also learn you just have to relax. And if we could keep the precepts perfectly, we wouldn't have to take them. The reason we take them is because we're ordinary beings who need to improve their ethical conduct. If we were already arhats and bodhisattvas, there would be no need. Yeah? And that's exactly why the Buddha has us doing, the fortnightly purification and restoration of our precepts, because we're ordinary beings. Yeah, and the idea is to learn from the precepts, to train ourselves in the precepts. Yeah, the idea is not to make ourselves into nervous wrecks.
She would like to know why, Venerable, you couldn't give the full ordination having here a complement of fully ordained bhikshunis.
Because the bhikshuni ordination needs to be given by 10 bhikshus and 10 bhikshunis. And we don't have the bhikshus yet. Yeah, we're waiting on them. And they're... But our dream at the Abbey is to be able to give both the bhikshu and bhikshuni ordinations here, the full ordinations, in English, and to do the whole training program in English so that people can actually understand what's going on. Yeah. Other questions? Yeah. Okay.
So even though you get ordained and you're still in the program, it's amazing how all the things that you dealt with when you were a layperson are still up for grabs. But they come within the community, okay? So you've got any issues around authority, you're going to have to work with that. You have any issues around praise, your attachment to reputation, your aversion to criticism and feedback. Maybe prior to ordination, if you were in a relationship, that whole idea about being special, that still is a thread that runs under the surface of things. Well, we let go of a lot of things of the world, but the sense faculties are still chugging away. And so we've got food, we've got physical comforts. It's amazing the things you start to crave and the things you start to strategize about to provide pleasure. So it takes a really long time to, you don't just, now that I'm ordained, most of my issues are gone. They continue to come for a really, really long time in relationship to your teacher, in relationship to your community, in a relationship to the precepts. So it's a very, very deep well of bringing things up in relationship to now this very, very different life you have. But the afflictions are still the same and the struggles are still there to address.
Yeah.
So you don't, it's not, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you come in and you you have authority issues and they're still there. And you want people to approve of you and you think, I worked on that. No, I don't care if people approve of me. You come in here, these people don't approve of me. I want to be approved of. You think people don't believe you? Yeah, oh, I worked that all out. You come in here, they still don't believe you. Actually, maybe they believe you, but you can't see that. Or actually, maybe people approve of you, but you can't see that. So you bring all your stuff with you. It would be so nice if our afflictions needed passports, you know? And then when you come to the border, or the immigration authority says, your anger is not permitted, expelled. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, left my anger at the border. But unfortunately, all of our issues come with us. And then we start, what you said, we do play things out in relationship to other people. Yeah? And what we play out is different for each person. Yeah? Some people, you expect your teacher, or you find a senior monastic that is kind of a mentor to you, and you want them to be the parent that you didn't have, the parent who has unconditional love for you. Yeah, and so you try and you come in and you expect that, and then that person doesn't give you unconditional love. And then, oh, what's wrong? They've been practicing for a long time. Yeah? Why don't they have unconditional love for all sentient beings? What does unconditional love for me mean? Yeah? It means that they always are nice to me and tell me what I want to hear. Yeah. Actually, unconditional love should mean that they're working for my Dharma benefit in the long term to help me get enlightened. That's when they, really have unconditional love. But we think unconditional love is, we're going to be their favorite disciple, and they're just always so kind to us and praise us. It's so nice, finally. Yeah. And that one doesn't work either. And then you get mad. Yeah. Your teacher tells you what to do. What was that thing that you were holding? I was trying to figure out, what is the term designated on that object? That's the term. Does anybody know what that thing is? It's not a strainer. A strainer is like this, and you strain water out of it. What? A holy spatula. A holy spatula. For eggs. But it's flat. Your eggs are going to roll off of it. Oh, it was curved? Your eggs will still roll off of it. Yeah. How did I get on that? Where was I going with that one? What was I saying just before? Your teacher, yeah. You get angry at your teacher. So you've heard enough teachings about the horrible karma of getting angry at your teacher. Yeah. And you have pure view of your teacher. Yeah. They never make any mistake. I am never going to, create that horrible karma of being angry at them or criticizing them. Anyway, they are perfect, and I'm sure that they are enlightened or almost there, although I might get there before them. And then your teacher tells you where to put that thing, and it's not where you think it should go. Yeah? And you get mad. Why are they telling me where to put that? I have my own wisdom. I can figure out myself where to put that object in the kitchen. Yeah. Or your teacher tells you, yeah, oh, the people in Timbuktu want a Dharma center. How about going there and starting a Dharma center? Yeah, you know where Timbuktu is? Get your ticket tomorrow. Yeah, you got Timbuktu? That's where my mother said she was going to send me when she was mad at me. Yeah, I don't want to open a Dharma center in Timbuktu. But my teacher said to do it. But wasn't my teacher? No. Yeah. I'm just a tool in this institution. They don't really cherish me. I am an individual with my own Buddha nature, a sincere practitioner, and they just want me in this institution because they need a teacher in Timbuktu. They have no respect for my autonomy. Yeah, you're going to get that. And then you're going to get that disciple is so scattered. They are just scattered and they are so difficult to get along with. Really arrogant. And that's the one that serves my teacher. And when I, a sincere disciple, want to go see my teacher, that arrogant person sends me away and tells me my teacher's busy. But I have an earnest question that I deserve to ask. Yeah. Why does my teacher favor that nincompoop? Yeah, so you're going to encounter that too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is the observation that I observed in the past years. I was thinking of, I want to have a conducive monastery to train my mind. And I was expecting that I have a good teacher, compassionate teacher. And then I got a shock when I see you transform into a person that trained the monastic really tough. From a compassionate teacher, and suddenly I got a shock. I got like, I shared with Venerable Lamsel last year that I don't know whether I choose the right monastery. After that, I realized that this is a form of training. And I really appreciate, if any of the teachers, if you see that I need to be trained, please press my button.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't take much to press our buttons. Yeah? So it's not that the teacher's even doing it deliberately. Yeah. I don't think somebody's going to wake up in the morning and say, oh, Kenru, let's see, which button of his should I press today? And what should I say that'll really get to him? And no, often they may even be trying to treat you with kindness, but your buttons are going, and the alarm system is like, it doesn't take much to push our buttons. But whenever our buttons are pushed, from our viewpoint, it's the other person's fault. So when our teacher pushes our buttons, it's their fault. Yeah, they don't like me. Oh, everywhere I go in life, I just want to be loved. I want to be accepted, but they don't really like me. That's why they're sending me off to Timbuktu. Get me out of their hair. Except they don't have any hair. But, get them, they just want to get me away. And then you build up this whole drama. My teacher is rejecting me. Yeah. And then, of course, my whole life people have rejected me. They always want me to be something other than what I am. They never accept me. I'm just looking for unconditional love. And that's what Buddhas are supposed to have. And they say that my teacher is a Buddha, but it sure doesn't look like that. Okay, and so you'll go through that too. And then you think your anger is justified. Yeah. They are not listening to my feelings and needs. Marshall Rosenberg said that we should listen to each other's feelings and needs, and that we should not make decisions for other people. Yeah? We should bring them into the discussion about any kind of things that where decisions are going to be made that impact them. And this is in every mediator's training book. Yeah, you can't make decisions without the input of the people it affects. And they're sending me to Timbuktu without asking me what I thought about it. Yeah. Or what else are they doing? They're telling me to go work in the garden and pick weeds. You know, I'm a college graduate. Yeah. If I wanted to pick weeds, I could pick weeds at home. I don't need to come to the monastery. You know, I'm a college graduate. I had a good job. I was making, 6 figures. And I came here to pull weeds. They have no respect for me and what I've achieved in my life. You'll have that one too. Some of you maybe have a little bit of that right now. So it's quite interesting. And, the whole thing depends on whether you practice the Dharma or not, whether you follow afflictions or whether you follow the Buddha. Yeah, so there's two things to follow, 2 ways you can go, who you want to follow. You want to follow the Buddha or you want to follow your afflictions. Yeah, follow your self-centered mind. Yeah?
I just have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So, how do you have confidence in your own wisdom? I've created like 15 soap operas since I've been here, by the way, like all these storylines. So I'm trying to figure out, how do you trust your own wisdom if your teacher's telling you something that you don't agree with? Like, I don't know how to discern if it's for my own good, or, how do I know that? Because I don't feel like I can trust my mind.
Okay, so there's times when it's really advisable to check things with your teacher. You may be 100% sure that this is an excellent idea, but it could be really good just to check and say, this is what I have in mind, what do you think? Okay, and get some feedback. So that can often be very useful. When you find yourself, how do you trust your own wisdom? It comes through trial and error. Yeah, it really comes through trial and error. And some people make a lot of errors on the way, and some people don't. Okay, it depends, how stubborn we are and how independent-minded we are, and so on. Yeah, there's certain situations where stubbornness is really the best way to go, and being quite independent-minded is really best. There's other situations where it's our afflictions that are lying behind the stubbornness and the independence. Yeah. So it's really by getting to know yourself, yeah, watching how your own mind works and how, what are your habitual ways of thinking? And how does that thought usually lead to this one and to this one and to that one? Yeah, yeah, just watching and then really assessing as you go. Asking yourself, is this an afflicted thought or is this a realistic thought? Yeah. Afflictive thoughts, after a while, there's some feeling in them. The mind has some feeling there. Yeah. An underlying feeling of, I'm going to get my way, or I'm going to win this one, or whatever it is. Okay? And then other thoughts where it just feels like really the right thing. I think it's criteria I use for making decisions. Yeah, because, how do we make decisions? Some people toss a coin. Yeah, but some people, that's the Western way. The Eastern way is you go to your teacher and you ask for a mo, and he takes out a pair of dice and throws it, or he does something with his mala and then says, do this, that, or the other thing. And then you have to see how much do you trust that. Yeah, because some people get, oh goodness, I don't want to even get into that. They get really confused, yeah, because they run around from one teacher to the other asking for mo's, and the mo's always tell you something different. And you know what you want to do, but you're waiting for the mo to come out and say what you want to do is the right thing. So you keep going around and asking. Yeah. And then you just get so confused. Yeah. So what I do to make decisions is I think, first of all, I look at the various options and I think in which one can I keep my precepts best and live an excellent, an ethical life, and which options have a high likelihood of leading me into a lot of attachment and poor behavior. Okay, and then to see, because we may know that a certain decision will lead us into a lot of attachment. Our wisdom mind knows that. But our afflicted mind says, but I really want to do that. I really want to do that. And it's not so bad. It's just a little bit of attachment, and it fulfills my needs. And I'm supposed to pay attention to my feelings and needs. Yeah, and I really need a relationship right now. Yeah, or I really need whatever your need is. So, that Marsha Rosenberg said that's fine. Yeah, so there might be a little of attachment, but not much. And I'll fulfill my needs. I'll be happy. I'll be more relaxed. My Dharma teacher said to be relaxed. I'll now be more relaxed, so my practice will go better. Yeah. So you become attuned to how your mind justifies and rationalizes things. Okay? Because you're paying attention to what's going on. And, how do you know what to pay attention to? When your mind is going like this. What do I do? I don't know what to do. I want to do this. I want to do that. That is a sign that afflictions are present. Okay. If you're sitting there feeling, oh, I'm a failure, I can't do anything, oh, this is terrible, this is really, I've got to do something about it. Afflictions are present. When you're looking and you're going, wow, that person's such a good practitioner. And they have so many opportunities to practice. Yeah? They're really close to the teacher, and I'm not. And they get to go here and there and learn this and that, and I'm just like hopeless. Okay? If that's going on in your mind, that's afflicted way of thinking. Okay? So you learn to identify your afflictions, and then the criteria for making decisions. What's going to happen to my ethical conduct? Yeah. And what's going to happen to my bodhicitta? Is that going to be an environment in which I will be able to increase my bodhicitta? It doesn't mean that it needs to be a totally peaceful environment, but you have to be able to assess how much challenge you can handle. And that's difficult, because sometimes we think, oh, I can handle that, that's no problem. And you crash. And then there's other times where you don't choose a good option because you don't believe in yourself. It's like, well, Okay. So you have to see, if you're putting yourself down, there's afflictions going on.
Has someone come to you talking about me? Because that felt really specific.
I think anybody else felt like they were getting talked about. Yeah. So, no, see what I said? It's all of us. We're all in the same boat. Okay. Other comments or questions? Miss Perfect over there. I'm not going to open my mouth and look like a fool. Okay, so you're going to get made fun of. At least here you will get made fun of. Yeah, not everywhere you go. So, you're welcome to choose a teacher who doesn't make fun of you. Yeah, but Lama Yeshe used to make fun of us all the time, and I think because I think it's really important we learn to laugh at ourselves and we don't take ourselves too seriously. Yeah. So, and I'm sure you make fun of me. I see it. I see it in the skits.